I mean, what is your goal with this interview? Are you trying to get people motivated to do things? Are they going to be inspired to learn something? I mean, obviously learn something, but what is your goal, your ultimate goal? Who is your target market? Who do I talk to?
Business owners.
Business owners, okay? Entrepreneurs, young business owners, experienced business owners, starting business owners.
Experienced. That's why I'm interviewing people who are experienced like you, right? Yeah, like when I checked for LinkedIn, and I think I found like around 2 accounts. All right, 2 accounts.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I found 2 accounts, and I saw like you won a sailing championship in like 1972 in Norway. Tell me more about that.
Okay, are we starting now?
Yeah, we already started like
Oh, okay. So you want to know about my sailing escapade? So, as a little kid, I grew up on the ocean in Norway, right? So I actually have my Norwegian flag on here. You can see. So my family's been sailing all their life, and we were as kids used to swimming, and we learned swimming early on. And I was entering sailing when I was 6 years old. I started sailing in regattas and competing as a 6-year-old. But the big problem I had there, which was kind of interesting, I almost drowned 3 times. And I had short hair like this, but one of my neighbors saw me go down under the water and she grabbed me and pulled me up. That was the first time. And it happened 2 more times. So I was really, really scared of water, believe it or not, even when I was sailing. So guess what? I never capsized when the wind increased. I never capsized because I was scared so much. I was fighting for my life. So when I was sailing, I was more outside the boat, meaning keeping the boat level so I didn't capsize. And that's also probably something that fear helped me win a silver medal in the Norwegian championship when I was 12. Yeah. At 12. Yeah, I was only 12 years old and I became a silver medalist in my class of sailing. Yeah. So anyway, so I was always competing, always loved sports and I had so much energy. So I definitely was ADHD when I was young. I was playing soccer, I was sailing, I played handball, I was riding horses, I played ping pong, I trained dogs. I mean, so many sports. So my mom especially put me to all these things because I had so much energy. If I had grown up today's day and age, they would have medicated me, which was just a big problem. And I'm not for medication.
Well, like I have similar experience. Like like I also have ADHD because I can't stick to one thing for long enough, right? But it's still like I have to force myself to make the habit of doing the same thing. So I would guess you are a good swimmer then.
I'm not a good swimmer, but I can swim to survive. So here's a story related to that. I learned to swim very early on, but I never had my head on the water. So the way I overcame it, it took me till I was 16 years old to overcome it. And how to overcome this and how I did it was I put my head in the sink and I held my breath for a minute. And I said, okay, I can do this. I can be underwater for a minute and come up again. And that's how I overcame it. So now I dive into the water and swim underwater. I got a diving certificate and everything. So so that's one thing I had to combat. But I figured out a way how to train myself to overcome that fear.
But how long does that take to to learn to swim? Because I still don't know how to swim.
Oh, well, that's not that hard. I remember because it's mandatory in the schools in Norway we have swimming lessons early on. So we must learn how to swim. It's part of the thing. But I remember my grandmother taught me how to swim, actually. She put a little stool down in the kitchen, and I was doing like this with my legs, in my arms, and then she would move my legs, do like this with your legs, and then I did that together with my legs, and then I just learned to do that. So that's that's something we had to learn early on in our life.
Wow, that's because where I was born in my home country, we had a river, but I was never allowed to go to the river because kids die, kids drown, and the river was far away. But the thing is, I never learned to swim. I don't know why. Like there are 2 or 3 things that I have not done yet. First, learn to swim. Second, somersault. People do somersault. I wanted to learn that, but still not able to do because I'm afraid like I might break my hand or leg or something else if I do launch somersault. And I'm afraid that I might drown if I try to go into the swimming pool or the pond or wherever I try to go and basically try to swim, because I drowned one time and I think I have that fear because like the water, it was like at this level when I was in my like hometown, it was at that level and I drowned at that level also. I don't know how, how did it happen, but I drowned at that level water. Since then, I've not
Yeah, you have to have I have a lot of respect for water. We have lost family members too back home because boats can capsize. And even if you're a very good swimmer and very fit, you can drown. And every time I'm in the boat, I always wear a life jacket. Always. That's just, and it's also the rules in Norway. But rivers are dangerous. They're more dangerous than regular water because you get carried away and you can be pushed under.
Yeah.
And there's not much, and it's a massive force. Whereas the ocean depends on the weather that day, obviously, but it's usually not a lot of current. So we don't have current in the ocean as per se, unless you're in a river. Big difference. So it's very dangerous for anyone.
Mm-hmm. In river, like there are huge stones, right? And the water is circling around those stones. So you the water could just take it down.
Yeah, it sucks you right down.
Wow. Probably I should learn the same also.
Yeah, that it's actually not that hard. You should go to YouTube and take some of the lessons. You can learn it easily there, but you need to practice, right, in a safe place and with some floaters. My wife, who's from India, she had to learn swimming when she came to Norway. So we went into a pool and learned it inside the pool in a safe area.
Maybe I'll try the pools.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you have pools, you can do it. And then you start on shallow water and you get somebody to help you. And you have some floating equipment in the beginning, so to hold you up so you can learn how to just do the basics. And once you get movement, then you float. You see?
Nice. Okay. That is about swimming, right? So you won a championship at 12.
Sailing.
Yeah, in sailing at 12. And I saw you own another, you became second in world championship at a football something?
In footbag or hockey sack, people. Yes, I used to play soccer since I was 6 years old too. I was always very busy in sports, right? I played till I was 24 in Norway. Then I moved to the US. And in America, I was a good soccer player at that time back in 1985 because they hadn't played that much soccer. And they figured out they needed to take me out because I was one of the better players on the team. And they tried to take me out 3 times and tackles from the hip and up. And I was like, whoa, wait a second. You use your hands. And they didn't use their hands. So I switched sports. I saw a girl play with this little bag on the internet. And it's just a little bag like this. It's a little this is a hacky sack right here. It has 32 panels. And this is a soft one, but I used to play with a hard hacky sack like this, or foot bag. And it took me 8 years to train to become number 2 in the world in doubles and number 3 in the world in singles. And we play on a badminton court. It's like takra from Indonesia with a big bamboo ball. They play on a badminton court back and forth. So it's volleyball with your feet. But luckily, when I moved to the US, the so happened to be some of the best players in the world lived in the Bay Area or San Francisco. So I got to practice with them. But it took me 8 years, and I'm very dedicated when it comes to sport. I would practice a lot by myself. And I became very well known for doing very good serves because I could train myself because I wanted to put the other guy on the defense right away. So the serve was very important. I did not overhand, but over leg spikes on my serves. And I never expected that. So they got a problem right away and then gave me an easy bag back and then I could spike him. So anyway, I used all kinds of different tricks and mentality things so that I could figure out how can I beat these guys. So anyway.
So was it double? Like how do you play double and single?
Yeah, so you do 2 people on each side of the net, right? Then you can touch the ball 3 times, but only once per player. So then it would basically be a dig if they got it over to us, and then another set and a spike. So doubles, it's like 2 people playing volleyball double volleyball, same thing, but we only used our feet and no touch above our knee. Because couldn't trap it on the chest, couldn't trap it on the thigh, only feet. So a lot of dexterity and movement. And we had pads on my shoulders and my knee, and we would go upside down and spike and go up and block on the nets and jump up. So a lot of dexterity. But it took a lot of, we usually played on grass. That was the preferred surface. But I remember my shoes, we couldn't use soccer boots. We used the regular running shoes, but I stitched mountain bike tires underneath mountain bike tires, so underneath my shoes, so I could get better grip. So we did all kinds of things and tricks to our shoes to flatten the surface on the inside of your sole, where you on the inside of your foot, we made it flat. On the outside of the foot, made it flat, so we could have a spiking area instead of that curved on the inside. I made that totally flat.
Well, how do you play it? Like when you play the volleyball, you can just use only palm, right? You can only use this, and only this area, right? But
your shoes.
Like you can't use the knees.
No knees, no touch above your knees. So no thighs, no knees, no head, no nothing. If you touch it, that's a spike. Then they won. Then they won that point. So you can't even touch your hair on the way up. You need to call it on yourself. So it's a very competitive sport, but it's a small sport. But I flew to New York, to Montreal, Canada, to Los Angeles, Chicago. I don't think I was, but I was in Portland, Oregon. I flew all over the place to compete in tournaments. So yeah, so that was a lot of fun.
That was in 90s, right? I think
that was back in from 1986 to the late 90s. I think I retired from that sport in 96.
96. So I saw 96 on your profile.
Yes, in 1995 I was the number 2 in the world.
Wow, and in 95. But how did you travel? Because at that time you did not have communication, like you did not have meetings like this, like phones, like telephones. How would you communicate at that time?
Oh, what do you mean? Communicate with who? What do you mean? I mean with other people?
Right, other people. Yeah, how would you do it?
No, so we didn't go online then, right? It wasn't common, right? So it was like the internet just started early 90s, mid 90s, right? And that's when we got email and stuff like that. So, but most of this later on, we started posting videos and stuff in the 2000s, and later on they started posting videos on the internet. But that wasn't so much part of my turn. But there are videos out of me from those days as well that you can see online. If you search by Alf Markussen and Google it and Footbag, you can see several pictures and videos of me playing.
I'll definitely do. Yeah. But I wanted to know, I was in the 90s. You were in the when did you went from Norway to California? When did you say, which year was it?
Yeah, in 1985, I moved to the US, to San Francisco, California, yeah. And I went back to Norway, where I'm now, in 2016. So I was there a little over 30 years. Long time.
So basically, you saw the rise and fall of these tech giants, right? Tech companies.
Absolutely. I remember I had a business called Play on Demand. I haven't told you about this, Santosh. I interviewed companies like Google when they were in a little bar in San Francisco. Nobody even heard about them. And actually, I stand corrected. I didn't interview them, but I recorded a meeting they had at a little bar. And people like Netscape with Mark Andreessen. Yeah, Mark Andreessen. There was another one too. I forget the name of that one now. But there were 2 search engines, 2 browsers.
Yahoo.
Not Yahoo.
Alta Vista
and Netscape, from what I remember. Yeah. So I went to all over Silicon Valley, and I went often down to Stanford University at the engineering lab, but I wasn't allowed to record there. But there were top engineers there, and one of the JVs, joint.
Ventures.
Yeah, but I was saying the wrong thing actually. Steve Jurvetson, who's a venture capitalist, he was one of he invested in Hotmail, by the way, and he would speak there very often on Fridays. I would go down there and learn a lot, and I recorded a lot of meetings that I put online. But I was too early. It was before the iPod and the phone, so I had to upload the videos and the audio to the internet, but people didn't have it with them in the phone. They couldn't stream stuff, so I was too early with that idea. So I gave that up, I think, in 1998. I gave that up. In 1998, 99, I stopped play on demand. So on. So I tried many different businesses when I was over there. And it was it was really amazing to see, because one of the things I love with the Americans, they're very good at forming teams and groups. And I have one story. I have, as you know, the listeners may not know. Oh, there's a lot of weird
Netflix.
yeah, I don't know what it is. Anyway, so as you know, I know also one of the founders of PayPal. And one of the things that I learned from him as well, he said, I asked him, how did PayPal come about? And they had all been out to Chinese dinner in Palo Alto. And there are 5 of them. They're sitting there. Well, I would like to pay for the bill, or I would like to pay for the bill. And they said, wouldn't it be amazing if we all could just send an email and pay via email or pay via our phones? And they said, wow, this is a business idea. And that's how they started going after PayPal. But they changed their target market and their plan 5 times before they found the right model. And then they started PayPal the right way. Yeah. So that's but back to my point. One of the things that the Americans are really good at is forming groups. And that's one of the biggest lessons I take with me, Santosh. When people ask me in Norway, Alf, so you lived 30 years in the US, what's the biggest thing you took with you from the US? And I always say I learned how to build and lead my own mastermind groups, because the Americans are really good at forming groups and teams and work together. You're good at this, you're good at that, I'm good at this person's good at that. Okay, let's form together a team so they can go to the next level much faster.
Yeah, I think that's super valuable, because like whenever you are forming a business or whatever, like you need a team to help you out with a lot of different things. You can't win alone. That's why like we see a lot of tech giants. They come out of US, especially from like California, San Francisco, Palo Alto, especially from there.
Silicon Valley. Yeah, absolutely.
Because other countries, they don't have, they don't have these groups, they don't have these VCs, these angel investors, right? These equity firms, investment firms to invest in the companies and to get the teams together. And I think that's super important. And that's why I started the podcast also, because I get to meet a lot of different people.
Yes.
And if I meet one person, then I can meet their other friends, which will be 2, right? Then I can meet other 2 friends of those 2 friends, and it starts to branch out. That's why I when started this podcast, because it gives us a lot of opportunities there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how the network, like they say in America, your network is your net worth. So the amount of people you know and the right kind of people you know is very important. I think you said the other day, you become the average of the 5 people you are mostly spending most of your time with. So I learned early on to form mastermind groups. I've been in mastermind groups now for over 26 years. And one of the groups that I started back in 2004 happened at a Jay Abraham meeting down in Los Angeles. Jay Abraham, if you don't know who he is, he's one of the world's foremost marketing experts. He's fantastic on JVs, like I talked about earlier, joint ventures, but I didn't get into what that is. But I was there to learn about that. And at that meeting, there were about 600-700 people, or 500-600 people from different parts of the United States, even the world. And I met many people there. And that's when I did my networking and found mastermind members that are to this day, 20 years later, are on my team. We meet every Wednesday, every other Wednesday right now, actually, where we talk and help each other come up with solutions, ideas. We solve problems. We share what we need help with. We share also what we learned that could raise the level of the group. So we go much, much faster because we are very focused on each other and helping each other get to the next level. Who do you need to know? What are you struggling with? What are you working on next? Oh, no, that's not a good idea. Have you thought about this way? Have you read this book, or have you taken this source? So we go boom, 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 very, very fast. And that's what Napoleon here talks about, the third invisible intelligence. That's what Oprah also says. You can never succeed alone. You must have a team.
You can't.
Never.
Because you might be good at one thing, but you can't get to do other things like alone.
Yeah.
Right.
So I like to go like this. I say, how much is 1 and 1, Santosh? It's 2. What most people say 2, right? And then I go, what is this? This is 11. It's 11, right? So because the sum of the parts is much bigger than just the sum of the members that are there, because we go to a whole, we feed off of each other, we bring another energy in, and that's what we get access to when you're 2 or more people in a group. And I believe in keeping mastermind groups small. My number is 4 to 6, no more than 6. Yeah, so that you can go around the room, that everyone gets to talk. And we have a timer, usually 15 minutes, not in this other group, but in another group for him, we have 15 minutes. And then we go, what are you working on? What are you struggling with? What have you learned? What did you accomplish since last week? What are you going to do by next time we meet? So we go around the room and we go execute on it. And all of it is recorded. I take a lot of notes when other people are talking, because I'm trying to figure out, how can I help that other person? Who do I know? Or what do I know? Or what do I need to look out for this coming week that this person is looking for? So I very, very focused when I'm not talking. When I'm talking, I kind of made my notes in advance. During the week, I write down, I need to ask this, or I need to tell them about this. Or so I have notes going into the meeting before the meeting starts. So that's also very important to see, because you got to be prepared.
Well, I do have same thing. I write down notes in like Google Keep Notes. Like every day I write down everything.
Perfect. Yeah, that's exactly how, because you coming in, like I see how you prepared this meeting here. Now too, you gave me some points. Here's what we also can talk about, which is excellent, because I want to make sure that I can give as much value to you and whoever is listening, that they can learn from us and you and whatever we have to share. So yeah, that's what it's all about.
Wow. So you put people first, right? And I think that's super important, because whenever I think about business, you must always put people first, because they are the ones who are running your business. If they do not exist, your business does not exist also. Right?
That's right. Yeah. And it's very important to have a good reputation. And you got to treat everyone with respect, everyone with dignity. And one of my goals when I meet people is like, how can I help this person? What can I do? Either to give them a positive comment, can I introduce them to somebody? Can I suggest something that might be helpful for that person? I always look for that. How can I put? And I don't want to talk bad about Norwegians or Scandinavians, but we don't have that innate ability that I think especially Americans have. And that's what I love about the American culture, because they are very giving. They look to help, but they also understand one thing. They understand what I said earlier. Your network is your net worth. So the stronger your network is, the stronger you are as a person. They don't have the same safety we have in our countries socially and physically, because we live in a small country, so our social system is strong. In America, it's not. You screw up in America and don't make money, you're on the street. So it's a whole, and in many other countries too. And I know in Asian countries, the families are really tight, which is beautiful to see. Our families are not tight, not as tight as theirs. I envy my wife's culture.
When you go to India, you'll find out like everyone.
It's amazing.
Relatives.
I'm going there in 2 weeks, and I look forward to it. She's got 25 cousins, just on first cousin on her side. So what I was trying to say here is that the Americans are amazing at looking for ways to help people, whereas Scandinavians don't want to get into it too much. But it's like they think, why should I help you? What's in it for me? And I think like, okay, the more people I can help, I know karma will come back. The help may not come from that person, but it'll come from somewhere else, because you start doing good things around you, create good energy, you create good karma. That's what makes you succeed, I feel. And that's very important. And I kind of see it sad a little bit for the Scandinavians. We have something called janteloven. And it's imagine a bucket of crabs. And one crab is trying to climb up almost to the top of the bucket. The other crabs will pull him down. That's kind of it in a nutshell. And that's not good. You want to lift them up. The more people you could bring to the top of the mountain, the easier it's going to be for you to get to the top.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like when you help other people to rise up with you, your credibility also rises up. You also rise up to their level, right?
Absolutely. There's no question.
Mm-hmm. And
And
yeah,
go ahead.
you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, and I was thinking like what you were saying. Okay, you need to network with all the people, and I think it happens in the probabilities. Like in life, nothing is guaranteed 100% that you will get this thing 100% of the time if you do this thing. But the thing is, you stack your odds, you stack the probabilities on your side. When you network with like 50 people, 100 people, when you meet 50 to 100 people who are highly valuable, then what happens is you might not get all the opportunities you wanted 100% of the time, but your probability goes from 5% chance of not having the opportunities to the 90% probability of having those opportunities. And I think it's all about stacking probabilities in your favor, like right, and that comes with the volume, and the volume is you need to talk with more people and be good with them, and build a healthy relationship, help them, and all of those things, right? Whatever you have to do. And I think everything you do, it's all about stacking probabilities in your favor. It's all about stacking the odds and favors in your side so that you get more opportunities, higher probabilities to get whatever you want from that thing, right? And that's what I think.
Yeah, and also, and at the same time, you get to help more people too, because the more abundance that comes to you, the more abundance you have to give away. You know, that many people think that, oh, rich people, oh, they're spoiled, da, 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 da. A lot of rich people get to do a lot of great things around them. They get to donate money, they get to help people, they get to be on boards, they get to help other companies. And when I had my party planning list, when I was a party organizer in San Francisco for 22 years as a hobby, right? I built a list of 20,000 people, and they were all friends of friends. So I connected my friends with their friends, and their friends connected with my friends, and it built and rippled out. And that's how I actually promoted my parties, if I can talk about that a little bit. So I became a pretty big party promoter in San Francisco, if I may humbly say so. And I did very unique events. I didn't do the regular dance parties all the time. I did beach parties. I took 8 buses of 400 people to concerts all the time. I moved from hotel to hotel, different theme parties, especially Halloween I loved. One time I had 5,000 people at City Hall in San Francisco, huge party. And that's how I met some of these founders of Hotmail and PayPal, like I mentioned for you earlier. And they would come to my parties, and I still have contacts with them. And of course, I'm able to reach out to them for certain things, but that's also very limited because they get inundated with things. So in many ways, I don't do that very often, almost never, I would say. I've done it one time, actually 2 times I've done it. And that comes of it. So that's a very tough one because I have to respect their privacy. I have to respect their, they get inundated with stuff. So I have to be very respectful.
They have other things to do, and they have a lot of other people that are reaching out to them, and they are like at billion, like, how to say, billionaire level. So like you have a lot of other things to do, right?
Absolutely. One of them actually is now a ambassador to the US in Denmark. So just right down the next country to meet. So I hope to connect with him one of these days. That's one of the PayPal founders. I'm not going to say the name here, but yeah. So another thing I can add, Santosh, too, on my way to my journey, I always read a lot of books. I invested a lot in myself in seminars and courses, and I continuously do that. I think we talked about when initially talked, like I believe we need to live like a flower. You need to always grow, because once a flower stops growing, it's dying. So you constantly have to grow, constantly have to push yourself, constantly. So I mean, I just recently invested $2,500 to be in a mastermind. I also paid several $1,000s to be in another course. So I constantly do that. And I read books, like I said, all the time too. A lot of the time audiobooks, because I'm out and about in nature. I listen to audiobooks so I can do things at the same time when I'm out in nature. Maybe I'm working out or something like that. So audiobooks I'm big on. And I'm also reading a lot of books on how groups are formed and how groups best thrive. How do you make a group flourish? And there's a book by Sean Achor called Before Happiness. He's been on Oprah Winfrey too, and he talks about the dynamics of a group, who becomes the leader in a group. And I'll tell you an interesting story. They did a study in that Sean Acor mentions in his book Before Happiness. They study a group of people at Berkeley, and they formed groups, 4 and 4, many groups, and they videotaped them, and they told them nothing about what they were doing, but they did an experiment. The experiment was they wanted to see who would become a leader in that group. So they just filmed them, they observed them, and after many video takes and the observations, they saw that the one that spoke the first in the group usually became the leader. And very often, it was not necessarily the so-called smartest person in the group. It's very interesting. So, and also, the one that speaks the first, if you know this trick, so to speak, if you bring in something positive, you steer the group in a positive direction. And it's the same thing. If you start talking about something negative, you steer the group in a negative direction. So you want to be very mindful. If you are that person that usually take initiative and do something, you become the so-called leader on leader. In my mastermind group, there's not a leader, but a person will float to the top naturally because of their, I wouldn't say abilities, but because they're taking initiative. So taking initiative is a very important thing. And that's another thing. They studied middle-class families' kids and poor-class family kids. Whereas there's a little bit longer study, but they saw, okay, the parents in the lower family kids families, they say, oh yeah, just go out and play on the street, hang out with your get to know your neighbors. Whereas the middle class and middle upper class, they had curriculum. It was like, okay, you need to go do this. Are you into music? Go learn this. You study, do that. You play football, you do that. So they had a set, I wouldn't say curriculum, but they had certain things that they wanted to do. And that it naturally developed in those kids, developed them to ask more questions, take initiative and do things. So they naturally then grew faster and better than the poor kids because they didn't have a structure. Whereas the middle to upper class, they had a structure and things they needed to do. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. That was a pretty new study I just read about. So, but anyway, but it has to do with groups. It has to how you develop. How do you push yourself? Do you educate yourself? Do you constantly push and go? You know?
Well, I was thinking about this. I'm doing podcast with the guests, right? So I thought like, why didn't I make a group of the podcast guests only? I was thinking that.
So tell me to describe that. It sounds very interesting.
All right. So I meet a lot of these people who have a lot of experience in different industries. Like I did a podcast with a lady last time, right? She's in HR and she has like over 25 years of experience in HR, recruiting employees and all of that things.
Atari.
Sorry?
In what again? You said in a company or which company?
In recruiting.
Okay. Human resources. Okay.
And she has like over 25 years of experience, right? And I get to meet a lot of people like this, like you. Like you have 30 years, 40 years of experience in business and doing this and doing this and doing this mastermind, meeting these people. And you have that experience. And someone else will have a lot of experience in other industries, right? And like it starts to build up. And I was thinking, okay, why don't I make a group of these guests so that they could help each other out also? Right?
Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking. Okay, I'll make a group.
Yeah, that almost sounds like a mastermind group, but that could make for a very interesting podcast. I think it's a very good idea. You know, so that's yeah.
Oh, when I release the episode, then I'll invite you and the lady and the other guests also. So I'll be adding the guests.
Okay, that sounds. And you don't want to have too many either, so that you have like maybe 3, 4, 5, so something like that. But you have to have the right energy too, right? So I'm sure you know what you're doing. Yeah, good, excellent. That's a good idea.
In a year, there are like 50 to 52 weeks. So I interview like around 50 to 52 people only in a year. That's like one podcast every week, right? And that takes a lot of time to edit and do all of that thing. So that's like 50 people, around 50 people in a year. So I don't think that's going to be that big, but that group will be so much valuable to other guests also. To even like, I'm doing this. I know I'm doing this for my benefit, for my benefit also. But the thing is, everyone gets the benefit, not only me in that group, right?
That's right.
That's the thing I wanted to create, because so you are from Norway, this guy is from UK, this guy is from Australia, this guy is from Dubai, this guy is from the California or somewhere else. Everyone has their expertise in their own industries, and anyone can share their knowledge to each other. And I thought, okay, that's going to be interesting to make a group, something like that.
Absolutely. And one of the things you want to think about this day and age, is to how can you capture the gold nuggets that each person said, because people are going to say, okay, an hour and a half podcast, sure, if I'm going for a walk or something, I have time. But right now, I want it condensed in 3 minutes. I want the big takeaway that Alf said. I want the big takeaway that Santosh said. So, like Fathom, this software, it could digest it back in gold nuggets. Here's the main points he said about this. Here's the main point she said. Boom, boom, boom. So they can get that and say, okay, click here to hear that. So you want to make your podcast very, I think, they can take it in bite sizes,
Well, you'll get a surprise on the day I upload this episode. Like, there's something that will come similar to that.
Oh, great. I'm sure you handle the game.
You'll get a small gift, but that gift, I think it will be valuable.
Yeah.
Because every lesson I take from this podcast, everything you said will be inside that gift. So I think it will be valuable.
I look forward to it. Yeah, I look forward to seeing that. Yeah.
Can you tell me more about the PayPal thing? Like, how did Elon Musk join? Elon Musk joined the PayPal.
Like, I don't get your question. Say it again.
So you said you met the founders, and you know how PayPal started, right? They were sitting at a restaurant and paying things by email. Like, how did Elon join the PayPal team?
I actually don't know. But I do. But I read Elon Musk's book 2 years ago, Musk. And it was kind of interesting. And my friend that was part of the PayPal team, right? He lent Elon Musk's. He had a house in Austin, Texas, or probably still has. But Elon Musk borrowed his house for 2 years. That I know. So they're close. I know that. And I'll tell you. I'll share another thing. I know an ambassador to Norway that used to be ambassador for Norway to the US for 2 years, 2 terms. And the other day, I actually contacted him because I'm thinking, the way I also look at myself, I'm very much a connector. I want to connect people, right? So when I had my parties too, people wanted to go places or meet people or find out certain things. So I could connect a lot of people. So when I'm finding out that my friend now is the ambassador to the US in Denmark, I said to my friend who's now the ambassador to Norway in Helsinki, which is Finland, and he's high-powered. And I said to him, I would like to introduce you to my friend at PayPal because he's tied with Elon Musk. And he was the ambassador to Sweden in 2019, the guy from PayPal. So what's stopping him from being the ambassador to Norway next time? So I said, let's connect this guy with you guys, because I'm thinking, I'm very patriotic about Norway. I love Norway, right? It's my country. So I said, if we can have a guy like Elon Musk and this PayPal guy maybe be involved with Norway somehow with AI and everything that's happening right now, this could be huge. So I explained that to my friend, I'm not going to mention his name, who's the ambassador to Norway now, but he said, oh, Alf, in our industry, and he's right, I didn't know that, we need to follow protocol. We cannot jump over, because he needed to talk to the now current ambassador to Norway in Denmark to make the connection to my friend. Now, but I wanted to be the one that put them together and say, hey, I'm doing this because of so-and-so. I want you to pay attention to this. And so anyway, I had to just step back and not involve myself. But I know that I know I can't go through her, but I will go through the PayPal guy. I will say to the PayPal guy, I know so-and-so that knows about you, and this ambassador in Norway knows about you. What about being the ambassador to Norway sometime? I know that's 4 years in the making. I don't know when that's going to happen or if it's going to happen, but I would like to orchestrate stuff like that. Those things makes me very excited. if I can help people, connect people, or like that.
It is exciting because you help them, right? Then you, in return, reciprocity.
Yes, absolutely.
It comes back. It comes circling back to you again.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm not doing it because of that, but I know good things will come from that.
Things happen, like,
Yes, yes,
and it's fun. And it's fun to see other people succeed also, right?
yes. The more friends of mine that are successful, the more happy I am. There's no question. If I can be a part of it and help them, I would love to do that. You know, just yesterday, actually, I introduced another guy in my mastermind to my best VA, virtual assistant in the Philippines. I said, I'm going to give her to you. I'm not going to have any money for it. You've helped me too. Let me give you something back. And this is the best VA that I have analyzed so far. And I've been helping people get virtual assistants for over 15, 20 years, mostly from the Philippines, actually. Yeah, mostly from the Philippines. Yes, 15, 20 years I've been doing that too. I have a course on that as well.
Wow, 15 years is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm probably close to 20 years now, actually, where I've been working with the Philippines and VAs, and I help other people get VAs. So anyway, that's just for me. That's just I like to give, then I can give, and that's just and I know it's going to come back to me. Maybe not from him, or somewhere else. You know, so
It's like it doesn't have to come back, right? That's the thing. Like, we are not doing the
pleasure of giving. Then I get more pleasure giving than receiving. Actually, to tell you the truth.
we are not doing the things for just getting back, right?
Yes.
And whenever I see people who succeed, like, who have the things that they achieve, is the thing they do not have the expectations. Oh, I do this thing, I'll get this thing, right?
Yes.
They just do the thing without expecting the return.
That's right. That's right.
And I have learned that also, you just do the thing. If people like it, people will get back to you, and you do the thing at the highest quality possible. You just don't do the thing. Okay, take this here, get out. You don't do that. Just give them the high value thing, or like a high quality thing, so they remember you, right? And if they need help, they'll come back, and good things happen to you, good things happen to them, right?
Yes. Yes. Now, there's probably people sitting here is like, oh, Alf, so if you keep on giving, and nothing comes back to you, what do you do then? I mean, there are people, and I'll be very honest, there are people in my life that are just takers. But you figure them out pretty quickly. You can see what you can see what they do with other people, not necessarily you. Are they talking highly of someone? Are they talking about something that they did for somebody? So you can pretty much figure out the takers very quickly, because if I keep on giving and helping a person over and over and over again, and I'm not necessarily me getting something back, but I'm also thinking a little bit like that, to be very honest. But if I'm also seeing that they're not helping somebody else, that also makes me feel, oh, this person is just a taker, and you can spot them pretty quickly. It takes a little while, but my radar gets better and better for that. And then you just learn to stay away from people like that. It's their energy and everything about them that tells you they're not the kind of person that you want to play with, so to speak, in your sandbox. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, like everyone has their own circles they develop into, right? And I want to go back to like the 85s, 80s era, because that's the thing. I think the big tech grew because of the innovation technologies development that happened in like 1980s to 1990s to 2000s, right? And you were there in 80s.
Yes, 85 and into the 90s. So the whole internet boom. I would go to opening parties for what's it called? Salesforce. You heard of Salesforce? That was on a Tuesday night. We went to a party with the B-52, which is a huge band. Open bar, food. They must have spent $500,000, $1 million on one party. That was on a Tuesday night. And the next was Yahoo. And then it was Pinterest. And then it was this. That's later, though. I know that. But Facebook come then into the late into the 2000s, right? And all these companies had opening parties all over the place in San Francisco or the Bay Area. So it was fantastic to see all these companies just explode and take off. And most of the investment happened in Silicon Valley because of the money that's there. You see, so So what is your question? I kind of jumped in before you had a question. What was your question?
I wanted to know, like, how was the era back then? Like, at that time when, like, it was not developed, like technology was not completely developed at that time, but it was still in progress. And there were companies, like, I think there were a lot of companies that are just coming out of nowhere. Like, and there are companies that are coming out of nowhere right now in AI, and the bubble is coming off. Like, those companies, some companies will remain at the top, obviously, but most of the companies will be flushed out. They will get removed. And what's the pattern that you saw at that time in the 80s, in the 90s, right? That could apply to AI nowadays.
Yeah. So good question. Not that I wouldn't say I'm a deep thinker when it comes to these things, but one of the things that we saw in the 90s and early 2000s, all these companies blowing up, right? There was many of them had a good idea and they got money just on the idea, but not on the actual functionality of their business model. Meaning they came up with a good idea, got the money, and they launched, and people were excited, but it wasn't really a product that was sustainable. And people try to do a land grab, meaning they try to get as many people as they could. Now, one thing that happened with Hotmail became very popular because the founder, Sabir Bhatia, he knew to market it to students. And they got free email. Oh my God, free email. So he, in the sense, actually, I spoke with him too about how he started Hotmail. And he was very interesting. And you heard me talk about Steve Jurvetson earlier, because Sabir Bhatia would shop it around to the different venture capitalists in the Bay Area. He would go and he would pitch, listen to this, he would pitch the wrong idea. He would tell them about a product he didn't even have, but was a good idea. He wanted to pitch and see what the venture capitalist would do and how they would treat him. And how would they help him grow his team? Because when you're looking for money, you need to look for smart money. You need to look for money that can do something for you. So he lied to these people. He didn't go in there with his Hotmail idea. He didn't want to tell them. So he said, what about this idea? And he said, okay, here's how they interact with me. Here's how they follow up. Here's how they do. And he said, one guy, Steve Jurvetson, started saying, hey, I like this idea. And he kind of got that he really did. And he said, what can you do to help me? I was like, I can do this, this, this. Then he says, okay, let me tell you about what I'm actually doing. I'm not doing any of these ideas that you've looked at right now. I'm doing Hotmail. I'm going to give away free email. And then that's the first one he told. And they invested $400 million in Hotmail back in early, Jesus, that must have been, I don't even know when that was founded. I'm thinking late 90s, early 2000s, something like that. I could be totally wrong on that. But anyway, and then it got sold. Wait a second, I was probably wrong. They probably invested less than that. It was Microsoft that bought them for $400 million. That's how it was. So Microsoft bought Hotmail. So anyway, so back to you.
Microsoft bought Hotmail for $400 million.
Yes, that's my recollection. So to your question again, how can I compare this thing to what we're seeing now in AI? Again, I'm not a fortune teller or know what's going on all the time with these things, but AI is it is way bigger wave than we see coming now than the internet wave by magnitudes of many folds. And I follow another guy called Peter Diamandis. If you heard of Peter Diamandis, so you want to look him up. So he's very forward thinking, and there's a lot of these boards with the AI now, and talking about longevity and biohacking, but very much AI. He says the next 10-year period from 2025 to 2035 will be the biggest shift we've seen in technology compared to the last 100 years. So the next 10 years will be multiplies of 10, right? So a factor. Well, no, I'm not going to get into that.
Exponential compounding.
Yes. So it'll be so powerful. So, but how is that compared to land grab and what's happening? I think AI the different software we see right now and the technologies, the things you can do with videos and images, and I mean, I can sit here and describe an app, and the AI will make the app for me.
But that happens, like I did like three days ago, I generated like 3 of the apps just by thinking about on my mind. Like I tapped on AI, I went to the AI Google Studio and I accidentally made these apps. It's like I was not there to make an app. I just typed, okay, I need this solution to this, and it actually generated the thing that I wanted.
It's amazing, huh? I did the same thing for my mastermind. I said, I want a timer. I want a room where people can chat. I want people, they'll talk when they need to talk, and the timer clicks down and it counts down. I just described it to the AI and it built it for me. And then I did some corrections and additions, and it built the whole thing and the backend and everything. So I think you probably at this time and day and age, which is December 2025, you probably need to connect an engineer at the end to piece it all together at the end, the fine tuning of it. But I am right now experimenting Lovable and Emergent and Bolt. Those are the 3 that...
Try this one, ai.google.studio, because that's free and it's using Google Gemini latest model, Thinking 3 Pro.
Oh, nice. Oh, good.
Best model you will find, like you will not find that model you might find in Lovable or something, but they have their own templates in Lovables and Emergence, right? They have their templates, and you are paying for them, right, to build those apps. But in ai.studio.google, you use it for free with the best model, right? And you can actually deploy that model and you can share that model to other members also.
And I can see that's amazing. And I can see the advantage with Google there, because they have Docs, they have the Google Drive, they got the Google Meet, they got all these other things that you can tie in, right?
And one of the best tools they have developed this year is Notebook LM.
No, I love that. Oh, no, I've used it. Yeah, of course. A friend of mine just said
that's my best tool they have developed this year.
Amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. I've created my own podcast with Notebook LM on certain topics. It's fantastic.
I listen to this every day. Like I listen to this Notebook LM every day, and I use it in my every work. If I want a script to be made, if I want a source to be extracted from all of my like these recordings, there will be a transcript. Okay, I want this thing, and I forgot where is it. Now find me this thing. It will give me exactly the source. Where is it? At which line? At which timestamp? And who said it? And how was it reframed in the context? Right around it, and it gives me the exact source, and I can make a whole podcast audio from it. I can listen to it, describing the things that I wanted, and I can also listen to the things that I might have missed or I might not have idea. Okay, this thing actually connects with this thing on the podcast, right? On the audio thing, and it does a phenomenal job. It does like 95% outstanding job on those things. And the other thing I found is the slide deck. I don't know if you use it or not. Slide deck. That's the best feature I've used it.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Well, I'm glad you told me about that. Actually, not to lessen your importance, but it came up in my mastermind last Monday. We had one person told me to check, because I told them there what I'm doing, and he says, oh, then you got to check out this. You see how you bring in ideas in, another one builds on it, and they get better and better faster. Because there's so many people that are looking. All the people on my mastermind team are always looking for new things now. And there's a huge opportunities in AI right now. So I'm more excited about the AI than I was about the internet. I didn't know what was coming back in the days. We tried many different business models. I tried to be the one that provided information with play on demand, but I didn't hit it. And but I also I think AI has huge opportunities right now.
Yeah, I think when I think this is what's going to happen. Like, I don't know how to predict or do the things, but the thing is, you have a problem and you have expertise to solve that problem, right? And when you try to do the things your own way, you have a lot of time inefficiency when you used to do the things by yourself previously, before 2022, right? You had a lot of time inefficiency, you have a labor inefficiency, you have a cost inefficiency, you needed a lot of money, you needed a lot of time, you needed a lot of people to do the things. same things that you can do for free in 2025 December for free, completely 100%, and use it as your own, and start an actual company and build like get that. Before 2022, that might have taken like 1 month, 2 months to do that thing. Now you can do that within like 1 day or even like 1 hour. So the thing is, you can do a lot of things, and there like you can do a lot of things, but the thing is, you have a problem and you know the solution, right? And you have expertise. Now you can just go and find out that solution into the AI, and you can plug your solution immediately with the AI, and you can scale that infinitely, right? And I'm saying this because like I was using AI for different things, in 2025. Throughout the year, I used for different purposes. But recently, I found this workflow, and it's super useful because on LinkedIn, I want to batch create the creative posts, right? You see these posts, these carousels where there are like a lot of different images. Okay, this concept is visualized and it is explained properly, like in the images, and there's a text format, right? And like before AI, if I were to create that image, if I were to create that exact post on LinkedIn, that would take me like at least 4 hours to figure out, okay, what's the structure? How do I create this image? I'll go on Canva and do this, add this element, this element. But right now, I think I've generated a workflow uh, last time, and now I can do that within like 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's amazing, yeah. And much better too. Right?
Much better, mine,
I know,
right?
I know. It's amazing.
I think that's going to happen to each and every company because they have a certain workflow, right? And they want to scale the things. And that's why people say, okay, people are going to lose the job. No, like if you might lose a job if you don't catch up with the things, right? If you don't learn to do these things with AI,
Exactly.
right?
Yes.
And if you don't learn to solve these problems, and if you didn't know, if you're just not performing previously, now you will lose the job because you actually don't know how to do the things, right? And I think that's where the the companies who catch up with the problems they know how to solve will become infinitely better than the companies who are not using AI compared to the companies who are using AI. And that's where I think the companies who solve a real problem will survive compared to the companies who don't solve a real problem.
That's right.
Right.
Same with the internet era. You need to have a real product, something that the people actually will use, like email and Hotmail demo. And that was very useful for people. Look at how important email is today. You know what I mean? And Hotmail is still around.
Yeah. And I want to know, like, earlier on, you said something about Google. I forgot what was the thing.
Okay.
Um,
I mean, it has so many different software, like the drive, the Google Drive, the Google Meet, the Google Documents, and all of the Google Forms. It has a lot of tools that you can use with AI. So I can see how the vibe coding with Google is very good. Is that what you're alluding to? No.
No. I was going back into the 90s era, like how Google started, because Google just came out of nowhere and dominated the niche, right? That already big companies. I think how big was Yahoo, Alta Vista, in Netscape in 1990s? I think they were like at hundreds of millions or billions level, right?
Netscape was the big one too, Alta Vista too, and Yahoo. I think they kind of screwed up in their thing. I don't know why, but the Yahoo just disappeared. But Netscape, I think, did they get bought up by Microsoft or something when Microsoft came into the picture? I forget. I'm not sure.
Yeah, something like that happened at Netscape. But the thing is, I want to know, like, how did Google dominated all those big guys? They were at the billions level, like they were at the billions. They have a lot of money. They have a lot of manpower. They had everything they needed, right? But how did Google came out of nowhere in 1996 or 98? I think like mid 90s to late 90s, Google came out of nowhere and just took off, like, right? It just took off right off the bat.
Yeah, you're asking. I don't know the answer to it, but I know they had better technology, better coding, and better algorithm. That's probably what they were good at. And so on how they became so big. The history. I mean, you can Google it. You can see it back then. That's amazing. That's how powerful it is. Don't just Google it, right? Just use Scotch tape or something. So they became a brand name.
It's just Google.
Just Google. Exactly.
And like, I want to know, like, what is the difference between, and I'm asking this question because how Google became like $1 trillion company, one of the most valuable company in the world. How did it happen? So I wanted to know like, how was your experience when using other search engines back then and compared to Google, right? Because Google had the same product. It was just a search engine initially, just sending the backlinks and ranking the websites. That was their initial product. Like, what was the experience with the Google versus Alta Vista, Yahoo, and there were like other browsers also, right? And Microsoft is also, right? How was the experience?
I'm sorry, that's not going to be a good answer. I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't be the right person to ask about that. So that's probably a question you want to. Yeah, I'm not your best person for that.
Okay, not a problem. Okay, that's fine. To go into the 90s era, because that's where I think 80s to 90s to 2000s era, because that's where a lot of learning is learning is left behind, because like everything we see today came out of that era, 80s to 90s, right? Like phone came out of Apple, like all the mobile phones, Steve Jobs developed.
2000 though. That's in 2005 or
2000, but Apple started in 80s, right?
Yeah, that is true. But the phone didn't come until 2005. The iPhone, the first iPhone.
And the other thing is, like the Apple started in 90, the computer started, right? Apple started the computer also. And Microsoft started in 80s. Was it started in 80s or 90s? So I wanted to know, uh, uh, like I want to know the knowledge from that era, because I think a lot of lessons can be learned from that era and applied to the era right now we are in, because we are at the early phases of AI, right? It's been only like 2 or 3 years, and that internet era lasted for like 10 to 15 years, from 90s to 2005. Learnings from the 80s to 90s, because I think most of the lessons can be learned from that era and applied directly here, right? Whoever is founding companies. And I think that's a lot valuable lesson, because these things.
And I won't be able to give you that much insight on the 90s and how it transfers into the AI now, because and that's not my strong suit, so to speak.
Yeah, that's fine. But like, you have seen the things, right? That were happening at that time, right? You have seen all the companies came out and they went bust, and you have all of the friends that started these companies.
Yeah.
And that's these are the lessons that I want to extract out for myself, not for myself only, obviously for myself initially. But the thing is, I want to give these lessons to others if someone is watching, and someone will watch this after like 2 years, 3 years, when I keep on uploading these podcasts with guests.
Yeah.
So what are those lessons? Like whatever are those lessons that you can give from 80s, 90s, 2000s that can be applied in 2025 era to 2035, 2045 maybe. Then after that, right, the future period, like what are those lessons? They can be anything.
Yeah, so I just one thing off the top of my head. Today, the market is very different. We're dealing with a big part of the market segment being generation X and Z and Y, what have you. All these different, don't even know millennials, right? And baby boomer. I'm a baby boomer. That's the 60s, right? Now, one of the things you find today is that young kids, 20, 22 years old, they are the ones that comes up with the unicorn. You know what a unicorn is, right? The company that can make billions, right? They are the ones that's coming up with the big ideas now. Again, that's data I have from Peter Diamandis. Now, not only that, the companies that are in the AI space now, they're also marketing to not only the older generation, but very much more the newer generation. They don't even know what a tape deck is. They hardly know what a CD is. They're used to having a mobile phone since they grew up. They're used to social media. So it's a whole different market.
Well, I know a little bit about CDs because I used to use DVDs.
Oh, okay. There you go. But there you go. Not many people that are born like 15 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe. They're not that used to it, right? And but those are the ones that we're going to be marketing to now more and more. So that's changes things, and the things move at warp speed, meaning way faster speed than it did before. So changes are going to come faster, harder. So and that's one of the dangers, I think, with AI too, because many people are nervous about AI, and I think AI can be abused in many ways. You see many examples on YouTube right now. The other day I saw Jimmy Kimmel. He was clearly cloned. Yeah, he's a late night stand-up host, right? Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
President Trump hates him, but anyway, somebody had cloned him, and I could tell because I know what to look for. And right now, the clones are not perfect, but they're damn good. They're damn good. I tell you that much. But I could tell the way he moved his mouth and the gestures and stuff like that. You could tell it was cloned, and I immediately turned it off. And friends and family members that are much older than me are sending me, "Oh, look at this video." I was like, "Dude, this is a clone. This is AI," and they think it's real. So people are being fooled. So back to your question, I think different marketplace moves much faster. Impact could be amazing, but I mean, it's also like you're saying too, it needs to be a usable application. It needs to do something. It needs to solve a problem. Exactly. So I'm excited about. I'm very excited about this whole AI space that we're stepping into now, and I want to be on. I wouldn't say I want to be on top of it, but I definitely want to be involved. There's no question.
You could start some companies. You have a lot of experience.
Yeah. So actually, yesterday there was a call with Joe Polish, of people 50, 60, 70 years old starting companies now, and you see, we will live a lot longer going forward too. My goal is to live to 113, 113. Yeah. Seriously, you can. The next 10 years now, you can biohack and you can find out diseases that you're prone to way in advance, so you can combat them early, and it never hits you. And I totally believe in that. And that's Peter Diamandis is on the forefront of that. I'm not trying to pitch him, but he comes up a lot. I read his newsletters and podcasts all the time.
Biohack thing you said.
I don't know that much about it, but he is changing out his blood, putting the different tests on it. There's yesterday I read about a new type of blood analysis you can do that tells you 300 different foods, 350 different foods that you should eat, and how you can combat things that's coming down in your path. That maybe you're prone to getting diabetes, maybe you're prone to getting cancer. All these things you can find out in advance now, and you can start combating it early on by doing certain things to stop it, And I also believe that Alzheimer, those kind of things. I was telling my wife yesterday, actually, I said, I believe that AI will come in, and suddenly the people that have had Alzheimer completely lost their mind. They're in homes. They'll be coming out of homes. They'll get their memory back again. And I know Elon Musk is testing like 10 different people with a chip in their head, right?
Neuralink.
Yeah. So, say again?
Neuralink. He has a whole company. He has a whole like $1 billion companies.
See, those kind of things will happen, and that's very, very interesting. A good friend of mine actually is coming down with Alzheimer, and he's in his 60s, early 60s, and that's scary, very scary, So, but I think AI and the medicine, we can advance things much faster now.
Have you heard of Brian Johnson?
No, it rings a bell. Yeah, it rings a bell. He's a podcaster or something, is he?
No. He was working with Elon Musk also, and now he focuses on the biohacking thing.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. That's and robots, of course, is going to be huge in the future, and that's why I think Tesla is much more than a car company. They'll be one of the biggest ones in the robot space. But China, who knows, they've already produced many robots, and that's also going to be taken over. And it's going to be a fascinating space too. and how fast people are going to get used to them, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see.
Well, the thing you said about biohacking, Brian Johnson, if you go and look on YouTube, he does exactly the same thing.
Okay.
Right.
Yes. And Tony Robbins is big into that too. He is on the board with Peter Diamandis. So he's part of those big thinkers that are definitely that.
Well, how old is Tony Robbins? Because I think he's pretty old, but he looks young.
He's 65, 66, something like that.
Wow. But he looks young, like around 45.
Yeah, look at the physique he has too, he's strong. There's no question. Yeah. You made one comment here in the notes, Santosh, and you're asking your journey seems to follow a path. So I can talk a little bit about that if you want to, because I think it might be valuable. So for anyone that's an entrepreneur out there who's going to learn something new or starting a company or succeeding at whatever it is that you're doing, one of the things that I did, and when we talked first, you and me, Santosh, is like, how did I get into party promotion and how did I grow to become so big? Because I became a big party promoter in San Francisco. And one of the things that I did, first of all, I did something I loved. I didn't even have to be paid for this, but I did it to solve a problem for me. So I solved a genuine problem. In Norway, we were not used to dating. In America, they're used to dating. I came to America going, dude, I don't know how to date. I don't like to date. And I found it also funny because I have friends of mine that date one girl that day on Wednesday, did another girl on Friday and another girl on Saturday. And so how can you focus on 3 different girls at the same time? I'm more devoted to one girl if I find a girl. So in Norway, we used to go out in groups. And how did the parties happen? Groups. I would invite my friends and they would invite their friends and we'd all meet. And if something happened, we clicked. And then you find a boy or a girlfriend, right? And so that's how the party started with me. So I solved a problem that I had. And I had a problem that many other people identified with. So there was definitely a market for it. So that's the key thing to relate to your own business. Do you have a problem that can you solve it for yourself? How can you solve it for others? And is there a niche market or is there a big market there? Whatever it is, you can narrow down. So like I said, you can grow rich and then niche. And so instead of drilling a mile wide and an inch deep, you drill a mile deep and an inch wide. So you go into certain things. So I focused on parties or social events for my friends. So, and then as I did it, not even to make money, but I collected money to cover my costs and I did fantastic events for my friends and I built the list and they told their friends again. And then I started looking, who is really good at this in San Francisco? Because I started thinking, maybe I want to take it to another level because people started, coming to my events. They became bigger and bigger and more and more popular. So it was a good thing. Because I needed to create my new social system in a new country. So I said, who's the best promoter in San Francisco? And I identified one person. I went to his party, studied his party, saw his crowd, what he did, and the energy and all of that. And one time, he actually owned a bar in San Francisco, a restaurant, bar, dance place called Barcelona. And one time, I took 600 of my Scandinavian friends celebrating our Scandinavian day. Yeah. I had much bigger parties than that, but that was a pretty big party for me at that time. 600 people, we took over his entire place and he saw the crowd and how well they were behaving and all of that. And he said, Alf, you and I, we need to talk. And I knew he would say that to me because I knew I could bring a whole other dimension to him. He had a Latin crowd. I had a Scandinavian European crowd. And you could see how that matches. I've always been attracted towards the Latin culture. Dark skin, actually. I've always been attracted to that. And so anyway, him and I became very close friends. And we ended up doing some really big parties together. And he was the best in the whole industry. Now, I could share a little promotional trick with you that I told you about the other day. And so he actually shared something very unique with me. He says, Alf, shall I tell you one of my biggest secrets, which is a simple trick? And he says, I can show you how to get 400 people to a party like this. And he snapped his fingers and I go, whoa, okay, that sounds good. I want to hear about it. And he says, Alf, do you have 20 people like yourself? They like to go out, they're fun, they have good people around them. I said, yeah, I have a list. I have a 20 friends. I could consider that. I said, okay, do you think you could invite them over to your house or to a restaurant in a private room where you have some food and drinks for them? And you tell them all to bring a mobile phone, because this is now back in the early 2000s, right? So not everybody had mobile phones then. I said, yeah, I can do that. And so I invited 20 of my closest friends. And what we did, all of them made a list of 20 people that they thought they would want to come to a party. So I was to tell them in advance. So all of them came with their mobile phones. I gave them food and drinks, got the good atmosphere going. And then they had all a list, and we wrote up a text message saying, hey, so they would then call all their friends while we were there in the room. So it became a lot of energy. And they're talking, hey, Alpha's having a party in 2 weeks. Are you coming? I'll put you on the guest list. Can you tell 2-3 other people? Boom, boom, boom. So all of them called 20 people. So we had 400 people, 20 times 20, 400 people right down there. And the word started spreading. So even more people will come. But you can take the same formula. If you want 100 people at your event, get 10 people, call 10 people. Or if you want 1,000, do 100 people, call 10 people.
That's interesting.
20 people, call 50 people. If you want to make it simple that way. So that is a principle that you can use in any business. Even if you're not a party thrower, if you have a restaurant, or if you have a hair salon, or what have you, if you have chiropractic.
Well, I have content type of business.
How? Yeah. So you could ask people to spread your content. That's like the affiliate marketing works, right? And I know that referral marketing, which I have a business card. I can probably show you that.
Please show me. Like last time you showed, but this time everyone needs to see.
This is how it started. It started like this. This it says alf and alf, and if you see it says half and half. And then it says rip and rip. And this is a perforated.
Crazy thing I did not realize last time is that there is edge.
Yes.
I was only looking at ALF last time. I did not see the ads.
And then this is half and half, because this becomes a half. Now, on the back side, this becomes a VIP pass. Once I sign here and put like +3 or +2, it becomes a VIP pass. And I would collect the name and phone number and email of the person. Then I would go like this. Boom, boom. I tear it in half because it's perforated. And then I would give this to them to keep, to bring to my party. And I would collect this one to collect the data on them. And the beautiful thing about this, if you think about it, here's the scenario. I would go on the street or go to a bar or restaurant or a party, and I would see a good-looking girl or a very nice, good-looking guy that I would think fit my crowd. Now I would give them a VIP pass. Normally it would cost $20, $30, $50, sometimes $100 to get into my parties. I say, hey, you're my VIP. Just show this at the door, tell them you met me, and you're in. And then now I got their contact information. So leading up to my party, I had a new person that I could market to and through. I would send them the email invitation and make flyers. So now it could grow boom, boom, boom. So this is how I grew my list to 20,000 people. And of the right people. You see, you market to the right target market that I knew would fit with my group.
I see.
Yeah. Then I did this you can do it for restaurants. Here's a restaurant, sign and dine. And then it says give and receive. And the name of the restaurant, and they would collect the information.
Well, is it your restaurant?
Huh?
Is it your restaurant?
No, not my restaurant. But if you notice, there's a serial number at the bottom. So I can know when somebody or the restaurant owner, my guests would give that to another one. I could track it. So I could find out who gave that to the other person. So this is the restaurant. This is Sign and Dine. And I did that for hair salons, where I did cut and dry. I did for chiropractors. We got your back. And then give and receive. They gave this away and then they receive something back. So then they can also track which customer gives this to other people when it comes back. So this is another really fun thing that I built and works like clockwork for businesses and small businesses under, I'd say under 10 to 3 million or $3 to $10 million
revenue.
The referral market is number one. So so all these things came out of my party promotion, meeting all the people that I met. And I think it's a good lesson for somebody to think about how they can use their existing customers to get more new customers. That's the big message here.
Yeah. And like I think I wrote to you question yesterday is that it contradicts with the things, right? First, you have a small group, right? You just have a small group where you keep 5 to 10 people, highly valuable people, and you have all of these big parties going on. Right? It just contradicts the thing. Okay, you have a small group and you have a big party. Okay, how do you manage that? How do you qualify people to be in this small group only?
You mean in the mastermind?
Yeah, in the mastermind.
Well, those are people I carefully pick. So another story, when we built our mastermind in 2012, my wife and I were given the opportunity. We were told, some friends are told them that it's a good thing to start selling on Amazon. I had never sold anything on Amazon, and I knew, okay, if I want to learn it, I want to learn it again from the best. I always go to the best source. And the best source is usually not free. You pay. So we, 2,000 people were going to meet in Austin, Texas. And we were living in San Francisco then. So we decided to fly to Austin, Texas to meet with 2,000 other people for 3 days. Okay. But I said to my wife, before we go there, we will have as our number one goal to build a mastermind group, meaning we were going to look for 4 to 5 other people that were similar to us, but they also were going to do it full time. They were going to they constantly like to educate themselves and invest in themselves. We clicked with them. They seemed to be willing and like to help other people. And they also didn't seem to be too dominating in the conversation. They would be good listeners. Okay, so we looked for those things. And my wife and I never sat together when we were there. We sat in different seats so we could meet as many people as possible during those 3 days. And then we hand selected, we wrote down notes and got their phone number. And we called 5 of them. And we say, meet us to the right of the stage as the seminar ends. So they met us there, and I said, hey, you're here because we want to invite you into a group that meets once a week for an hour, hour and a half, where we go around the table and we talk about, what are you struggling with? What have you learned? What do you need help with? What other things are you doing to market your businesses? How do you build your team? How do you set your goals? All these things as an entrepreneur needs. And here's the big thing is here, Santosh. Since 2012, now it's end of 2025, we're still meeting every Monday for an hour and a half to solve problems. Wow. But I have another group that started in 2004. That's now over 20 years later. You see, so
you go with so my main thing is, so you go with the intention, right?
Go with the intention to help yourself and help others at the same time.
Wow. So you go with the intention to find these people that could be fit for you. Wow. That's the lesson I learned.
But you also need to think about, what are you giving them? What is your background? Because they're going to ask, why should I join this guy in a group? Why should I join this girl in this group? Because I've done this. I know how to do this. I have contacts here. I have contacts there. I can help you with this. Is that valuable to you? You see, so first you got to very much think about, how can you be of service to that other person before you ask them. Because I told them when we were going to meet, I said, we're going to do this full time. I'm going to be at this work every day. I want to help you. I'm going to be looking at marketing angles, how to import products, negotiating deals, building teams, all this. So they knew that I could be of value to them.
Okay, so, I think it perfectly resonates with the idea. First you build yourself, then other people, then you can attract other people. I think it perfectly resonates with that thing. First you have something in value that you have done. Okay, you have these things that are of value to other people. Then you go with the intention, try to find other people that could be the right fit for you and whatever you're trying to do. Yeah. Then you provide the value to them, then you help them, right? And you meet those people. Wow.
Yeah. And if you don't have as much experience, you need to come across as, hey, I constantly learn. I read this book now. I read that book now. I'm going to this seminar, going to this, I'm going to that. So if you don't have much experience at this point, you need to at least communicate that you are a go-getter. You're a person that makes things happen. You are constantly learning. You're constantly growing. You're pushing the boundaries. You're learning the latest thing in the AI, whatever it is that you can bring to the table. If you don't have a lot of experience at this point, for the person that might be listening, saying, "Oh, I don't have much experience." No, well, then get your ass out of your chair and start doing things. Don't be lazy. Show them that you got energy. Show them that you're taking action and doing things, right? That's what you got to do. And that's the kind of person I would look for. If I am considering a young person, that person better be hungry. I want somebody that's going after AI and learning things that I don't have time that I may not even understand.
Yeah, and my other thing is like what I learned recently about getting the credibility, getting the things, the big thing. Most people have big thing. Okay, I built this company, I sold this company, and most people had okay, I have this thing. Okay, this thing. Okay, that comes after 10 years of experience, right? That comes after this many years of experience, and you have done this thing. You have all of these qualities. But I learned this recently. Okay, and it was bugging me for like 3 years. I found it like 3 to 4 weeks ago. I wrote down everything. So this is what I found out. If you want to go into any industry and you want to have a lot of how do you say it? A lot of value that other people will take you as granted, like that other people will take you as an authority, that you have something of you have something valuable. It's you want to figure out this is the process. You want to go and figure out what is the thing that you think those people will have, those people will think will be valuable, right?
Yeah.
And you want to go and figure out what's the industry average most people do on that industry average. Okay, for example, let's say someone posts one video a day, right? Then you go and do 10 to 100 times more of it. You do 10 to 100 times more of it. You post 10 videos. And I know it takes a lot of effort, right? That's why you get the credibility. That's why you are taken as the valuable guy, right? Valuable guy, girl. And you go and do this incredible thing that other people don't do and can't do and won't do. But you do the thing. And now you get a lot of data. It might have taken you to post 300 videos a year if you just did one video a day. Now you can do that within a month. And you get the credibility of a whole year, and you compress the timeline from 1 year to a month.
Yeah.
You just got 20 videos in a month, right?
So this is exactly what you're doing here, Santosh. Is perfect because you're giving examples of what you're willing to do and what you're capable of doing and what you're actually doing, not just talking about it. And ideally, you should be shown to it. So one of the things that happened for me, what you shared with me now is really cool, actually, and I'll play on this. I have a system called What's Cool About You, meaning I want you to fill out things that you are doing personally, privately, that you normally wouldn't talk about in a business setting. So as a young person, you may have interests or hobbies that you're really passionate about. One of the things that happened to me, one time I was at this meeting with Jay Abraham with 600 other people that I talked about earlier. One gentleman there started asking me, so because there I was promoting my business card, the RIP card that you just saw, right? That was my thing. I worked on that for 4 years. Okay. But anyway, so as I started warming up to him and he warmed up to me, he started asking me other questions. And he said, "Alf, what else do you do?" And I felt comfortable with him. And I started talking, I was like, "Well, I actually throw parties also for a living." Yeah, seriously? He said, "Yeah, well, I got 20,000 people on my list. I got the founder of PayPal, founder of Hotmail." I was like, "What?" And then I told him about the scale of events I did. Like the Halloween party at City Hall, the budget over $100,000, 6 months planning. I mean, 50 security guards got to be cleared with the city. There's an own sheriff department, fire department. I mean, serious. This is serious event planning. This is not some party anyone can throw. You need to have a lot of experience to do that. And he knew that. And he said, "Wow, Alf, that's very impressive." And that was one of the things that pulled him to be part of our mastermind group to join us. What I've heard him tell me later, he says, "Alf, with your experience there and the contacts that you had, this made me think more than twice because he was way ahead of us. Because you always want to find people that are smarter than you in the mastermind.
If you want to grow, find people who are way ahead of you.
And that's not hard for me, right? To find a person smarter than me. So anyway, so this is a good little talk about my party planning and the referrals and finding mentors that you can go and learn from.
And that thing, like I built a whole framework around it. If you want to be valuable in anything, just go find the industry average, what most people do, do 10 to 100 times more of it. That way, I mean, it will be hard, but the thing is, you get a lot of credibility from, like, you compress the timeline from 1 year, 5 years to 6 months, right?
Yeah. I have a person now that's contacting me. I have a friend of a friend. His daughter is coming to me to ask for advice what they should do. I have a friend of mine that his daughter wonders what to do. She's young, early 2021, 22. And I told her a little bit about what I'm doing, especially on school and with the different things I'm teaching people and what other people are making money teaching people, their hobbies and things like that. So one of the first things I'm looking for is like, how hungry is this person? How hungry is she? So we had an initial call for about 45 minutes or so. And she told her dad, it's like, oh my God, I had a great conversation with Alf. I feel so excited. And he emailed me back. He says, Alf, I don't know what you did with her, but she's all excited about this new thing. I said, well, okay, that's great. But here's the thing. I'm now looking, how hungry is this person really? Is she doing what she needs to do? Is she going the extra mile? And I tend to be, that's one of my weaknesses. I tend to be too forward towards a person like that, whereas I should probably be and see if they actually go for it. Are they doing something? So I'm very curious to find out what she's done. I sent her 2 important videos the day before yesterday. And I know the father has sent it to her because I don't have her phone number or email at the moment. But I haven't heard anything back yet. I'll be very curious to see what she's done, what research she's done, or if anything at all. You know, some people are just, they're excited. You can motivate them, but if they can't motivate themselves to get off their ass, so to speak, to do something, that's what it comes down to.
Exactly. Like, you go and do 10 to 100 times more of what most people do on an average. And then you get the incredible value, data, clarity, whatever you want, quality, right? You get the data. And
Yes.
that's why people take you as the value, like take you as an authority. Okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. This guy knows what he's doing, right? And it's just effort, just doing the thing, right?
And here's the many people ask us like, well, the hardest thing is starting, okay? The hardest thing is starting. But just like a big ship, it needs a lot of power and effort in the beginning to get the ship going. Or vision yourself this. If you're a young person, you're standing in front of a tunnel and you're supposed to, and the tunnel curves, you don't see through the tunnel. So you will not find out what's around the bend until you start moving in through the tunnel. Meaning the analogy is you need to start. Just do something. Start. Like Einstein said, nothing happens until something moves. He said, but so when you go through the tunnel and it's curving, suddenly you see a door. Oh, I didn't know that door was there. Now that's because you didn't start. So once you start, you will see. Once you start doing what you're saying, start doing the 10 recordings, then you learn maybe techniques how to do it faster or other things that didn't work or worked. So starting is the most important thing. And the best thing to do is to get into a mastermind group where you can hold each other accountable. It's like, hey, you said you're going to do this. Why didn't you do it? Or you said you're going to do it. How was it? Tell us about the experience. What did you learn? Oh, great. And the other person that didn't do it, it's like, why didn't you do it? You can't even count on yourself. Okay, maybe this is not for you. So so those are the kind of things that are very important. That's why you also need a support network around you. You need somebody that got your back, that could lift you up when you're feeling down, and you could do the same thing with them, or get you through a problem. It's like, why do you look at it this way? The solution is here. One time I was sued and I didn't know what to do. I went to my mastermind, asked one question, got one answer, lawsuit gone. Boom.
When that's what happens, when you network with a lot of people, right?
That's right. And especially people that care about you. They said, Alf, I had the same thing happening to me. Here's what I did. It went away. So I followed his exact step. Lawsuit went away. So I was very nervous. I didn't know, like, am I going to lose my house? What are they going to take? America, people sue people and make millions, So it's very difficult sometimes. So you got to be careful. So anyway, that's my little lesson there for anyone that's going to start. They need to take the first step. Magnus Carlsen, one of the best chess players in the world from Norway, he has a coin. He has 2 plays that he normally starts with, and he doesn't decide on which one to play. So he flips a coin and he goes, okay, it landed on head. That means I'm going to start with this one. That's how he makes that first decision. Then he just goes with it. And that's another good analogy for you too. I don't know where to start with. I have this or this. Flip a damn coin and make a decision. That's what good leaders do. They make a decision, go, and then you learn as you go.
So you just take the first step.
Take the first step. That's right. You don't know what you don't know. So you need to take the first step.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it is a big one. And you need to be in a support group, network, mastermind to that got your back, know what you're doing and understand you, and that cares for you, and that will give you the right advice, at least how they see it to the best of their knowledge. And it's not just one. It's not a coach. It's 4 or 5 people listening to you that knows you.
Wow.
That's the difference of being in a coach.
So I also have an analogy compared to this. Like I had an analogy on how to say it. You just need a right direction, not the whole map to go in that direction, that thing, right? To reach that thing, right?
Perfect.
You just need to, like, when you take a first step, the fog clears out. When you take the second step, the fog clears out a little bit more, right? And you just keep on walking the path.
Perfect, right? Perfect. Yeah. You're saying the exact same thing that I'm saying. That's another way to look at it, and that's perfect. You gotta start. Take the first step and find out. Like I say, there's another book called Fail Fast by Steve. And I don't think it's called Fail Fast, but Steve Masterson. You know how software is developed? They have a beta version. They throw it out on the market and they get feedback how the software was, and then they reiterate and make it better. The software companies are a perfect example of that.
Well, they are, like, basically they have an MVP initially, then they launch it, and they get the feedback from the customers.
That's right. That's the most valuable thing. And you got to find out, fail fast is a good analogy. Are people willing? Do you have a problem you're solving for people? Do you know how to solve it? Is it valuable for people so they actually will pay for it? That's the biggest mistake I made with my RIP card, with this one. I did not test it fast enough if people would pay for it and how much they would pay for it.
Oh, wow.
So
So go about that story.
Yeah, and so that I told the story already, but I invested over $10,000, I think $15,000 on attorneys to patent it. That's something I should not have bothered with. I should have just found out fast as possible, because it was a great idea, great concept, and worked really well for me. But are people willing to pay for it? Will they invest in it? Will they use it? And how well does it work for them? So that it worked really well for me, but not for everyone else. I know some hair salon that I marketed to got a ton of new business from it. But how was I able to take it to the masses to make more money on a bigger scale? That I wasn't able to. So then I stopped it after 4 years. Yeah. So you got to fail fast. Find out if people are willing to pay for it. Are you solving a problem that's big enough? And do you have the solution? And yep, that's it.
Okay, let's go to the next question. It goes back to the 80s thing. So how was the era back then? So the thing is, we see these these black and white pictures in movies, right? Okay, back in 1980s, it was like that when you look at the videos online. But how was it back then compared to now?
It wasn't black and white. You had colors. Yeah, but I mean, we didn't have mobile phones, right? I mean, we had, but that was Nokia. And all we could do is text messaging. I remember my first parties when I invited people to parties. I did it in a fax machine. I sent an invitation through a fax machine. I didn't even have, most people didn't have pagers. But most people didn't even have mobile phones. Now we're talking 85, 86, 87. And the mid-90s, then we started getting, we got mobile phones. We had Nokia. We had the text messaging and stuff like that. So, but literally I sent a fax, and that was you know what a fax machine is, right?
Yeah, I know. Like, it transfers paper from one place to another place.
Yeah. And that's how I invited people. Or I printed a flyer and printed flyers we did still when I was doing my events. But it wasn't like it was black and white, yeah. So I don't know if I can answer that question better for you. Go.
Okay, so another question is, how was the life without the PCs? So, like, I want to compare the era. Like, how was it before computers before phones compared to now? Because nowadays I can't live without this. I can't live without computer. I can't do anything. But how was it back then? The work.
Yeah, so I bought an Apple early on in 1985, 86. I bought a computer. Actually, that the first one maybe was some 1987, 88, 89. I bought like a square. Sorry, I bought a square Apple. I forget what it was called, but it could talk and it could do graphics. So it was like amazing. So that was all black and white, right? But it was very much the PC with the DOS programming, and I never got comfortable with that. But but of course, having a phone today, like we have mobile phones, that's like having a full-on computer in your pocket. So what you can do on the phone today is just blows me away. But I'm very, very happy for this technology. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of technology too. I love technical stuff, Yeah, I don't know how bit of an answer that is for you, but you guys are spoiled. Like I said, the today's generation don't even know what a record is or a tape deck is, right? We're only used to digital stuff and mobile phones. Yeah.
Wow. So you bought a computer in 1980s?
Let's say 1990, 1988, 87, 88, something like that. That's when I had my first computer, yeah.
So it was Apple computer.
Yeah, it's an Apple, yeah. Like with the floppy disk. And it has 500K, that was the RAM.
So you said it used to talk, right, at that time?
In talk, yeah, they thought that was so funny.
Oh, could you convert, could you do conversation with the computer, or is it just talk?
Lot of all. We were on the dial-up mode, and then there was like maybe 20K, you couldn't do any audio or anything like that. So it was really different.
Okay, so they had the speech synthesis thing at that time, audio thing.
Yeah. Was this? Yeah.
Like
Speech one.
Yeah, speech synthesis, like the 11 Labs have right now, the talking thing, the voice thing at that time.
No. But we could hear audio by pressing a little icon or something. You could say the computer had programmed audio in, so it had a little speaker on it.
Awesome. So you're going to say something.
Look, I don't know what you want me to say. What do you normally?
You go ahead. Whatever you have in mind, like whatever you have, books or things, companies.
Yeah, so I really appreciate being invited to this call, Santosh, and for anyone that's been watching, if they want to learn more about me, what I'm doing, and how I can be of help, you can find me right now on Skool, SKOOL.com, but you go in there and search for Mastermind Blueprint. That's what I'm going under right now. I also have another event or company there called Party Profit Secrets. You can also find me under that, where I teach people how to be kick-ass party promoters and party organizers like I was in the day for 22 years. And the main focus is mastermind business. So if I can be of any help to you there, you should join my community. It's free to join. And you can meet like-minded people there too. I screen people so that they're the right people in the group. And I look forward to just helping anyone I can. So that's appreciate you having me, and thank you so much.
Awesome. That's awesome. I think it will be a lot valuable if anyone joins it, because you get to meet people who are at way higher level than you currently are, right?
Well, I don't consider myself at a very high level, but
you are.
Yeah, no. Yeah, well, I've gone through a lot of things over the years, right? And I'm still learning, so I'm not stopping. So
no, like it's the continuous learning phase, like throughout the life until you die.
Yes, absolutely. All right, Santosh, anything you want to end with at all? Or
that was it for the podcast. If anything comes up, then we will again do the podcast thing, right?
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.